Hi friends, it's Tristan, aka Treats, and today I'm going to talk with you all about all my favorite gear that I took on the Appalachian Trail. So previously I talked to you all about the gear that made it to Katahdin with me, but today I'm going to talk with you about my favorite pieces that made it to Katahdin with me. So first up, we have my Osprey EA58 liters. I absolutely love this pack. I have been an Osprey person for a really long time. I have an Osprey day pack that has gone everywhere with me. It's been on day hikes, it's been skiing, it's been mountain biking. It has truly held the test of time. And this pack has proven that it can hold the test of time as well. I mean, it made it 2,200 miles, and the only blemish that it has is a little tiny rip in this pocket, this front pocket right here. And this is from butt scooting down rocks in the White Mountains. Otherwise, this pack is in like almost perfect condition. I wouldn't say perfect, but it's in still really good condition, and I can take it on a lot more trips. It does smell, but I love this pack. It was comfortable. It's for a framed pack. It's relatively lightweight, and it was really great for me for my first through hike because I am definitely not ultralight, but it's one of the lightest frame packs you can get. And yeah, the warranty for Osprey is amazing. I had issues with my first EJA before I even set out for trail, and they couldn't fix it, so they sent me this brand new pack before I started for trail. So I can't recommend my Osprey enough, and I would 100% take it again on a different hike. I would like to go ultralight in the future, but if I don't end up being an ultralight hiker, Osprey is my go-to. All right, next up is my shoes. When I was a runner, I used to have all kinds of issues with the balls of my feet, and I couldn't figure out anything. None of my shoes would work, and my feet, after more than a few miles, my feet would hurt when running. And then somebody recommended Hoka's to me, and my Hoka running shoes, they made it so that I could run more than a few miles without being in pain. And so when Hoka came out with hiking boots, I knew that I had to try them because my hiking boots were starting to hurt my feet as well. And the Hoka Speed Goats are amazing. My feet did not hurt in the way that they did before. They did hurt because I had too small of shoes, but that was a user error and not the shoe's fault. But I wore 3 pairs of these throughout the entire trail, and I loved all of them. These are the ones I summited Katahdin in. I haven't had the heart to throw them away, and they're still pretty comfy, even though they are pretty worn. But I will be getting a new pair of Hoka's very soon because these are the trail shoes that I swear by. They're comfortable, and the high tops, I'm a klutz, and so I roll my ankles a lot, and I love the high tops. I realize that makes them not the lightest shoe, but they're still lighter than classic trail boots, and they really worked well for me, and I would recommend them to anybody. So next up is my Get Sprints Flying Pig hat. This hat is just, oh, it's so awesome. So I'm a runner, as I've said about like my shoes, and so I originally got this hat for running because I like to keep my face shaded when I'm running in the sun, and I knew it would be perfect for the trail too because I wanted something lightweight and that would keep the sun off my face when we were in the green tunnel, and it would keep bugs out of my hair and just all that good stuff. And runners like fun patterns. And so this hat that has the colorful little rainbow flying pigs on it was just too cute to pass up. And honestly, this hat it weighs like nothing. And when it got dirty, it was super easy just to toss it in the wash. My only caveat is that part of the reason why this is my favorite hat is because my mom modified it, and she put a high ponytail holder on the top so that I could keep the hair off the back of my neck. And so that made this hat what it is, and I loved it. This was probably in my top 3 of my favorite gear. This is my microgrid Melanzana hoodie. I was obsessed with my Melly. It was like a comfort blanket to me. It was so easy to just, when it was a chilly evening, to just throw on this fleece, or when it was a really cold day, I would toss it on and put on the hood and cinch it tight. And this was just, it was so cozy. And when you can't carry cotton on the trail or anything like that, this was the closest thing I could feel like to like cotton and being cozy on trail. And I know that they're really hard to come by, but this was super cozy. I loved it. It might not be the lightest one out there, but this was a great fleece mid layer that I still wear almost every day off trail. So this one, I know that there's lighter options out there and there's other things that people probably like better for through hiking, but I obviously swear by my Carhartt beanies. I love the thick knit. I love how comfy they are. I love how they fit on my head. There's just something about these hats that just, oh, I love them. And so this was so great for when I wanted to sleep, and especially since I had a quilt and I didn't have a hood, this would let me put this on, and then I could put either my Melly hood up or my puffy hood up, and it would keep my ears extra warm. And so yeah, I really love this, and I got it in blaze orange because even though hunting isn't an issue on the AT, if I like fell off a mountain or somebody needed to find me, I wanted to be easy to find. So yeah, I love this hat. I love Carhartts. I will never wear another beanie. The Carhartt beanie is the best. All right, so this was a very important piece of gear, and so on my list I put this alongside Leukotape. I actually used basically my entire roll of Leukotape on the trail, so I don't have my Leukotape to show to you, but this is my KT tape, and basically this is a tape, a stretchy thin tape that you can put on your muscles, and it will just help. I don't know the exact scientific definition of what it does, but basically it like helps relieve like pain, and it helps like the blood flow better so that you are in less pain. I actually only had to use this on the trail in the White Mountains because of those descents, and they were super steep and my knees were killing me. But I had used it before for running some half marathons and even my full marathon last January, and it works wonders. It like takes away some of that stress on your ligaments, and yeah, I will use this forever. It feels so good. And I had friends that were skeptical about it, and I was like, just take some of mine and try it out. And afterwards, they were also swearing by it. I know that there are different brands out there, but KT tape is what I like to use. My famous little fanny pack. So I know that there's a lot of fanny packs out there, and I know that there's a lot of lightweight options, but this Patagonia fanny pack was the perfect size for me. It held everything I needed, and I loved the colors. And yeah, I had a fanny pack before this one, before I started trail, and it just like, it pulled on my back weird whenever I put like my phone in it. So I just didn't love it. But this one, all my snacks went in my hip belt, and everything else I wanted to have easy access to, like my phone, my chapstick, my face sunscreen, my pepper spray, it was all easily accessible in here. This was perfect for on the trail. It was perfect for in town, for just like going around and holding my most important things close to me. And yeah, I still use it off the trail, and I love it. The colors have worn a little bit, but yeah, I would totally get another one of these, and if this one really dies. So yeah, this was I think it's the black hole fanny pack, but anyways, it's really cute and I love it. All right, so I know that this one doesn't apply to everybody, but this is my Brandwin Essentials Busty Bra, and it's a Merino Wool Bra. Before I left for trail, I noticed that on my weekend backpacking trips, when I was sweating, my normal sports bras were getting like really sweaty, and then when I got to camp and wasn't moving, they were getting damp and they were getting cold, and therefore I was getting damp and cold. And so that wasn't really a good thing that I wanted to happen while out on the trail. And so I was like, well, I want to try something else that was going to stay a little bit drier. And so I tried this Merino bra, and it was great. I will say that it would eventually get wet, like all things do. But until then, it did keep me warm. It stayed a lot drier, and it was the least stinky thing of my worn clothes. So if you are someone who needs a bra, I would highly recommend these Merino Wool Bras. They are great. It was so comfy, and I still wear it all the time today after trail. Oh my gosh, this is probably my #1 favorite piece of gear. This is my Jolly Gear Triple Crown hooded long sleeve shirt. I lived in this shirt, literally. For basically every day for 6 months, I wore this shirt every single day. I absolutely love it. I used to swear by the lightweight like Columbia shirts, and because I sweat a lot, but I need to also protect this pale skin from the sun. And so I knew I was going to be wearing some kind of lightweight long sleeve shirts. And at Trail Days in 2022, when I saw Jolly's booth and saw these awesome shirts, I knew that I was forever sold. They're so lightweight. The patterns are just absolutely so fun. There are thumb holes. There is a ponytail hole in the hood, so you can just stick your ponytail through. And this was great on like super sweaty days for when I wanted my hood up. I could get my hair off the back of my neck. And yeah, this shirt, I mean, it's looking a little bit worn on the shoulders, but it's in pretty amazing shape still. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I will probably, I have Columbia shirts that I will still wear, but I will probably forever buy Jolly Gears for through hiking and for backpacking trips. They're so great. And yeah, I love this shirt and that it made it over 2,000 miles with me. So yeah, I love it. This is my Enlightened equipment Enigma quilt. I love this thing. I cocooned in it all the time. It left me feeling so cozy on all those cold nights on trail. I have a 10-degree bag because I sleep cold, and I knew that on the few chilly winter nights that I was going to need it, and I did. And it kept me warm. It kept me cozy. It is lighter weight than the sleeping bag that I have. I'm also a side sleeper, so that makes normal sleeping bags pretty challenging for me. And so this was just the best way for me to go. I absolutely love it. It's super lightweight. It does need a bath, but the closed toe box of the Enigma ensured that my feet would stay warm because my feet and my hands get really cold. And so I really loved that aspect of it. And yeah, I would totally get another one for the next trail that I do, or I'll use this one until it dies, but I would totally get another one if I could go back and tell former me what to get. So yeah, I love this. It's lightweight, it's warm, it's cozy. I totally recommend Enlightened equipment, sleeping quilts. So, this one might seem really silly, but my trash compactor bag is one of my favorite pieces of gears, and solely because it kept my gear dry. There is nothing like being rained on all day and getting in your tent and putting on dry clothes because your trash compactor bag kept it dry. This bag, I mean, it's great, but no bags are completely waterproof. They all wet out eventually. Don't let anyone tell you that the pack does not wet out. They do. So this kept everything dry. I know that some brands sell lighter weight stuff than this. I didn't like them. They were too crinkly for me. Like, I didn't realize that this is crinkly, but they were really crinkly. And this was a lot cheaper. So I switched it out about halfway through trail, and I will never not go backpacking with one of these now. It's such a simple piece of gear that can make such a difference during your hike. So yeah, a trash compactor bag is one of my favorite pieces of gear. All right, so I know I already talked about the pack, but this is I think it's Justin's. I have a link below, but it is a lightweight water bottle holder off of Etsy. And literally when I was doing my shakedown hikes before trail, I realized that I couldn't reach behind me to get my water bottles, and that was gonna be a problem on trail. And so I found this on Etsy, and like, it feels like nothing. It is so light, and it is so easy to attach to your pack, and then it fits a smart water bottle. And it is just the simplest, one of the most useful pieces of gear that I bought for the trail. And I honestly, I can't imagine staying as hydrated as I did without it, because having this right here, being able to grab my water bottle so easily, was just a game changer. And especially in the summer, in the heat and the humidity, you need to have access and drink your water. So yeah, this was great, and I love that it's handmade, so that's pretty cool. All right. That is almost everything. I have two last pieces of gear that I want to talk about, but before I talk about them, if you are squeamish about things to do with women in general, it's usually women, exit now. Because sometimes I get comments about these last two things. So if you're squeamish, go ahead and you can stop watching this video. If you're curious, or you're a woman who likes to hike, or you squat when you pee, continue watching. So first thing I want to talk about is my Coola cloth. A Coola cloth is basically a pee cloth, and basically what it does is I wipe with it when I pee. So I don't have to carry, every time I just need to pee, I don't have to carry toilet paper in a bag to pack it out every single time. It makes my life as a woman in the woods so much easier. So yeah, anybody who squats when they pee can use it. I love it because they have really fun designs. They have this nice little hook right here. They close up, like there's this other side, that this is the wiping side. It's antimicrobial. It snaps so that then like nobody else has to touch it. You don't even have to look at the backside, and it just hangs off your pack. And this made it so easy for me to just grab and go off into the woods and take care of what I needed to, and not have to deal with all of that other hassle. And I know that it may gross some people out, or there might be reasons why you don't want to use it. But for me, using the bathroom, and especially like peeing in the woods, was like a big thing that I struggled with when I first started backpacking and hiking. And this just made it like so much easier. And I realize it might sound silly that I struggled with that, but having to deal with all the toilet paper and packing it out all the time was stressful. Now I can use this on day hikes. I can use it on backpacking trips. I can use it if I have to pee and we're on a road trip and there's literally nowhere else for me to go except in the woods. It's so convenient. I love it. It's easy to throw in the wash. This is a great thing for anybody who squats when they pee to use. Okay. All right, last thing. Also, this is the thing I'm about to talk to you about is for people who menstruate. So if you don't menstruate, or you're not interested, once again, you don't have to watch. So the last thing that I really want to talk about is my menstrual cup. I struggled a lot before trail with knowing how I was going to deal with my period on trail. There isn't really any good options with tampons. I don't like them. You have to pack them out. I don't really want to carry a bag of bloody tampons. I don't want to. I refuse to not pack things out, but I wasn't going to carry all that. And I also didn't want to carry pads. And I don't know if you've ever hiked with one on, but it feels kind of like you're wearing a diaper. And I didn't want to hike like that. So I wanted to try. I had tried one years before, a different brand, and I didn't like it. And so I went online and I started doing research. I talked to friends, and then I came across the Salt Cup. And this one, I won't get into it. If people want me to go in an in-depth thing about women's hygiene on trail, I'm happy to go and do a more in-depth video on that later on. But for now, this one just fit my body better, and it worked really well for me. And even though it took a little bit of time of getting used to, and you do have to make sure that your hands are clean when you're inserting and removing it, this made having a period on trail so much more doable. It made it a lot less stressful for me. I didn't have to pack anything out. Sometimes I would have to pack a few extra wipes out just to make sure I could clean my hands really well. But I didn't have to pack out any pads or tampons. I just had to make sure this was clean, and it was so great for me to use, and I love that it's more sustainable. So I totally recommend Salt menstrual cups for all my people who menstruate out there. It was a game changer for me for through hiking, and it will be a game changer for all my future backpacking trips and just my periods in general. So that is all of my favorite gear that I took with me on the Appalachian Trail. So I know that there's a lot that were my favorites, but I really tried to do a lot of research before I went out on trail to pick the things that I knew that were gonna work for me. And I feel pretty confident in everything that I chose. And I'm really excited that I loved so much of my gear and that it worked so well for me to make it down the trail. And I really appreciate y'all for watching and being interested in all the gear that I used, and I can't wait for my next adventure and to decide all of the gear that I'll use for that and which of my favorites will go along with me on my next adventure. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.